Welcome back to the Raise Your Energy podcast. Today we are going to do something a little bit different than usual. I'm going to share with you 5 things that most people would call weird or extreme or even worse than that. And why am I going to share this with you? Because these things have changed my life for the better and I'm not going back. And I want to share with you that you might have as well things that you would like to do, that you dream about, that you think about on a constant basis, but you don't think you should be doing it, or you don't think that you can get away with doing it, or you might embarrass yourself. And I want to give you today that hope and that inspiration and a kick in your butt to do it anyway, because it's going to change your life no matter what anybody else is thinking. We live in a world that constantly tells you what is normal or what is deemed to be okay to do, and nobody is really doing it. Nobody is really normal. There is no normal. Normal just exists as an average of everybody. Everybody is somehow weird. And maybe that weirdness that you are currently missing in your life is exactly what is going to bring you peace and joy and life balance and hope and so many more things. So I hope by sharing this with you today about what is weird about me, I can inspire you and encourage you to go after your own weirdness. Because you know what? Nothing really bad happens even if you live out your weirdness or your extremes. I can show you that. So let's dive in. So let's start with the first one that I have talked about before in my podcast episodes, but it probably shocks the people the most. It is that I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I don't read the news. Nothing. And people do get shocked when they actually realize that I don't know what's going on, particularly in things that would lower my energy, that would make me feel something that I don't want to feel. The news these days is not about actually giving factual information or knowledge to you. It's all about sensation, just making a lot of drama and making you feel bad for how good you might have it in comparison to other people. I have been doing this now for many years. This is not something new. I have been doing this for years, and it gets even more extreme every single year. That literally, if I just hear somewhere in the a radio playing with news on, I'm going, oh God, no. Or I see somewhere a screen, maybe at the airport or something like that, where there is news going on. It's like I look away immediately. I live such a wonderful life by not engaging in this kind of reporting and in that kind of energy, because it doesn't help anybody. I'd rather spend my time and my energy of helping the people around me, helping people on the other side of YouTube or my podcast episodes. That's where I want to spend my time, to actually do something good for the world and help people to feel better. Nothing comes out of it, of me watching the news and lowering my frequency to the level of the reporting. Because quite often it's not even what is happening. It's not true how they are displaying or portraying what should have happened there. And therefore they make it even worse than it might be. And I just don't buy into this anymore. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help me live my best life. And that's what I'm here to do. And not to be able to talk about current topics that have been on the news yesterday. I don't need that. So, but yes, people do realize, especially when it comes to politics. I do not know any politicians. I hardly ever know who's actually running the country that I'm living in. And again, that doesn't mean that I'm not voting. I go and vote, and I'm very careful with my consideration and who I vote for. And I take this very seriously. That doesn't mean that I need to know all the ins and outs of who's running the country at the end. It doesn't help me. It just doesn't help me. And I feel so much more free, especially when I see people going on and lowering their frequency and lowering their moods and letting themselves be impacted by what is going on the other side of the world. Do I care for these people? Of course I care for these people, but I don't help these people by lowering my frequency in this world and make it even worse for them. And that's why I do not read, listen, or watch to the news ever. Okay, let's go to number 2, which is a little bit of a lighter subject, and it's as well very new to me. And it's that I meal prep most of my meals for the coming week on Sundays. I spend a good chunk amount of time of my Sunday to prepare most of my meals for the next week. And you might not think that this is crazy, and that's absolutely fine. There are enough people out there as well in my surroundings who say, wow, that's crazy that you spend so much time on this. It's crazy that it takes up most of your Sunday. It's crazy that you're so disciplined to stick with it. Why am I doing this? Because I have to. I literally have to. I had this realization 2.5 months ago when I was just so fed up with not being able to be more healthy, be more mindful with my food choices, and to lose weight. And I said, this is it. And the idea came to my mind to meal prep. Of course, I knew what it was. I've seen videos on YouTube about it before, but I never considered it until that exact moment where I know I sat in my car, I was driving to the gym, I was on holiday just before Christmas, and I said, this is enough. I am fed up with how I feed my body, how I feed my life and my energy, and I want to change it. And literally, I channel down meal prep. That's the thing for you. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I have been doing it now for just over 2 months. I have seen results. I have lost some weight. I have improved things like my skin and some other bits. It hasn't been huge changes yet, and that's not what I'm going for in this. That's not what it's about. It's really a complete life change that I'm experiencing, and I know that I have to put this amount of time into it now. Otherwise, I will never change. I need to stick to this quite contained meal prep box for quite a few months before I know I could loosen up a little bit and really trust myself to still eat the right foods. And that's what I'm doing. So today, for example, is Sunday. I've prepped already breakfast for the next 5 to 6 days. I'm currently in the middle of actually making my lunch, which is going to be a chicken salad. And then straight afterwards, I'm going to do the dinner for the next 5-6 days. And it really helps me. It helps me as well to save so much time during the week when I'm busy working and doing, of course, as well, video editing or doing my inner work. I suddenly do not have to think about food. I don't have to make choices. I don't have to go shopping. I save a lot of time. But yes, I spend a lot of my time and energy on Sundays to prep myself for it. And the good thing is that I eat better food. I have much more whole foods now in my diet. I have lesser carbs. I have higher protein. And it's I'm not counting calories. I'm not counting the amount. I'm not looking for any kind of other restrictions in this other than for me to not have the choice to make a bad choice, because that's what I would usually do. And I still allow myself to eat whatever I want 1.5 days at the weekend. I still eat what I want and I still get the results that I would like to see. And I love it. I love to be in this power of knowing that I'm doing something good for myself, even if it costs me time and energy. That's what I think it does at the moment, and that's how it feels. But if I would actually count the amount of time that I would usually spend on eating, cooking, shopping, choosing, and then probably feeling guilty as well afterwards for not eating good meals, then I probably am much better in this meal prep situation. So it's just something that I do not find weird about myself, but I surround myself on the internet and with information about meal prep. Other people would probably think that's far too restrictive, that's far too extreme, you will never be able to stick with it. It's okay. Well, let's see, right? I mean, I've been doing now 2 months and I feel absolutely good with it, and I'm for sure be able to stick with it for the rest of the year. So that's number 2 of my current weirdness. Okay, over to number 3 that is weird about me and probably more extreme. That's probably what people would think if I tell them that I am following a book, a workbook that is in here as well as part of my current spiritual development. And this exercise that I have to do every day takes me until the end of the year. It's a whole year long workbook that I follow as part of the book A Course in Miracles. All by itself, people who then understand what this book is about will probably call this already weird and extreme and out there and not something that a lot of people read. But then as well to stick myself to the task, and then for me as well to stick myself to the task of 1 year to go through a workbook every single day, study the text of this book, that would probably be called extreme for a lot of people. Why am I doing it? Because I feel called to. I was called to read this book. That's what the book does. If you want to know more about it, I'm not going to share it in this episode. I have a full episode on the book itself, what it's about, and if you are the right person to actually read it, this might be the sign for you to read this book. This video, us here being here together, might be your sign, or it might not be, because this book calls you when you are ready to read it. A few years ago, I wouldn't have been ready to read this book. I was not in the place to be able to accept and take in what is written in here. Now I'm ready. And I said to myself, for me to go seriously through the workbook, I need some, I wouldn't call it control, but I need some accountability. That's the right word. I need some accountability to stick with it, and that's why I actually record as well every day a video. So every day when I have reflected and gone through a task, I record a little video which I publish as well on my YouTube channel about my reflection. So if you ever end up going through the workbook of the book A Course in Miracles, then watch my videos and go through the workbook together with me, where I share my experiences, I share my ups and my downs. I just had a huge down a couple of days ago. I share that as well, going through this journey. And I go through this journey as part of my spiritual development and my spiritual growth, just because I have done already as well a lot of other things. So this might come to you at a time where you might have done already quite a bit of spiritual work. Otherwise, it can feel quite heavy, and especially committing to going through a workbook that takes you a year is huge. And I can't tell you yet if I will stick with it throughout the whole year. I know already that the workbook will take me longer than a year. Things happen, right? And I can't go and do it every single day, but I do as much as I can. And yes, I'm 100% sure that people would probably call this extreme and weird. And I don't care. So that's number 3, A Course in Miracles. If you want to check that out, I will link to you the podcast episode where I talk all about the book. Okay, let's get to number 4. Number 4 and 5 are quite similar and actually probably speak as well to my spiritual growth. And maybe as well not, but maybe it speaks to you as well. So number 4 is that I have exited a lot of kind of like hobbies or volunteer work or groups of people that I have been part of for years. It was towards the end of last year that I felt that I had to take my energy back. And I was part of lots of different Telegram groups and other kind of connections with people where it was either my hobby or I volunteered or the higher purpose was just so important to me for years. And that's absolutely okay. But suddenly I had this feeling that I had to take my energy back and actually go within. And I kind of cut everything off. And that is probably what people would call weird or extreme, to cut myself off from everybody. Obviously, I didn't really do that. I still go to work, I see my family, I see other people here and there. I'm not completely cut off from everybody, but I somehow knew something inside of me said that I am done. That I am done with this purpose. I'm done with this hobby. I'm done with this topic where people come together and live for something together. I was just done with all of it. And that has nothing to do with the lovely people that I got to know and spent time with and had lots of fun with. It has nothing to do with that. It was just something I needed to do for myself. Again, probably for my own spiritual growth, to really focus my energy on something else like the workbook that I just shared with you. So me sharing this with you is an invitation for you to check in if there is something in your life that you would like to let go of. If you feel like you have gotten everything out of it that you needed, or that you don't find the joy in it anymore than you might have done 1, 5, 10 years ago, this is your invitation to step away. You've done enough, you've gotten out of it what you needed, and you're not going to disappoint people by doing something different or by spending your time differently. If you explain what is going on inside of you, people will understand. And if they don't, then they're not your right people anyway to be surrounded with, right? So here is your invitation. Are you ready to let go of? What is not serving you anymore in your life? Ask yourself this question. Would you not rather spend your time on something that really fulfills you and that really still inspires you? So take this opportunity to let go of something. That is my 4th weirdness in my list, that I am getting a champion in letting go and stopping things and just saying that, well, thank you guys, it was a lovely time together, but that's it, I'm out of here. That is something that other people would probably call weird, especially the people in my life that actually go through this with me, that I just step out of their life. But it has nothing to do with you. If you watch this video and you're one of these lovely people, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me and my journey in this life. And then over to number 5, the last one of my weirdness. And that is quite similar to number 4, as I said already. It's that I left and exited nearly all social media apps and services, like I did as well in number 4, all of my Telegram groups. But as you know, of course, I have an online business. I have a podcast. I have an online program that you can join, Energy Academy. I have a YouTube channel. So I still decided towards the end of the year, as you can see, there's a theme of huge of change towards end of last year. I decided to let it all go. I've did it for years, that I did Facebook, that I did Instagram, that I did LinkedIn, that I did YouTube, that I did my podcasts, of course. And I let go of, and probably some other platforms, and I let go of Pinterest. That's another one that I tried out. And they all didn't really work because I didn't focus my energy. A lot of people actually say that if you spread yourself too thin, you're just not good at anything, really. And I don't think that was really the reason why I exited. I just wanted to bundle again my energy where I find joy and where I find as well some kind of interaction. And the one platform where that is still the case is YouTube. So that's the only, what you would probably call social media platform that I still use and show my content at. Plus, of course, my podcasts that you can find on any kind of podcast platforms. But I exited Instagram, which was probably the biggest one. But I spent so much useless time on it, so much energy. And I can tell you that especially on Instagram, I don't miss it. I don't miss it whatsoever. Similar to my first weirdness where I don't watch the news, and I for sure don't miss that. I don't really miss Instagram either. I am aware that I miss out on news or things that happen with friends and family and people that I know and that I connected with over the length of my life. I do know that I miss out on that, of not having that information, but I'm not missing it. You see where the difference is? Yes, I'm missing out, but I make that choice because I don't need it in my life. If something needs to come to me, to my attention, it comes to my attention. It's the same with the news. If I need to know about something going on in the world, in the wider world, or in my smaller world where I live, this information always finds me. It finds me through a colleague at work, or through a family member that I have a call with, or through a friend in passing, or literally I was reminded about something that I needed to do, some kind of paperwork. I was literally at my cosmetic lady when somebody who was sitting there getting their nails done actually told me that she just did this, and I'm like, oh my god, I've completely forgot about it. I read about this years ago that I needed to do this at some point. I completely forgot, and literally I looked it up, and yes, I missed the deadline by literally a week, but that's it. I don't think there's going to be any repercussions. See, the universe sent me somebody in my environment to remind me to do this bit that I read about years ago. And you don't tell me that this works. No, it works perfectly. Literally, all the information that I need to live my life the way I want it come to me. And that's the same as well about my friends, my family, people that I know. If I'm supposed to know something, reach out to them, be back in their lives, this information will find me, they will find me, or some voice inside of my head will tell me to reach out to them. I'm not worried about it. And that's why I, again, want to be just more mindful about my energy. And that's why I exited all of these different social media platforms. And this is as well for my business. I'm doing this for my business, not against my business, because I know there is no value in spending my efforts and my energy and my time and my nerves in social media platforms that never have given me any kind of anything. I don't even, would say they have given me anything so far. And that's why I said enough is enough. I've tried it for many years. It doesn't work. I'm going to concentrate on what brings me joy, what I still like, which is my podcast and YouTube, and that actually returns something to me, where I actually connect as well with people in a really good way. I have really experienced that on my content. I get to connect with the nicest people and get as well the most inspiring comments and questions on YouTube. You wouldn't think so, but I do. And that's why I still love this platform. And I've quit everything else. And you might call that weird, especially if I have an online business. But again, I don't care. At the end of the day, we all have habits. We make decisions, we say things that might already feel weird or extreme to other people. And you might not even go after your dream, after your desire, after your passion, because you think that that's what you're portraying and living by at the moment is deemed to be normal and okay. But other people might already think that anyway of you. So why not just give it up? Throw it out of the window, let it go, and be courageous to go after what you really want to do and what brings you joy and fulfillment and happiness. And then when you actually do this, people will find you. You will attract people in your life that don't think that you're weird or crazy. They will celebrate you. They will be the same weird as you. I can attest to this. This list of 5 things that I shared with you today is mostly my newest list, other than the first point. All the other points are kind of from the last 6 months. And I've done other weird things before where people thought that I'm crazy or that I'm weird or that I'm extreme. This is just my newest list. And I can just tell you, it always works out for the better if you just go after your heart's desire. That's what you really want to do. So again, this is my personal invitation for you to let go of wanting to be normal, to fit in and to people please, and be as weird, as extreme and as crazy as you can be. This is your life, and nobody will ever thank you for people pleasing, for trying to be normal, for all kind of that shit. Nobody's ever gonna thank you for it. So let it go. Let it all out. All of your weirdness, all of your craziness, I want to see it. And let me know in the comments, in the reviews, what is your number one crazy? I want to know. I want to find out. So thank you so much for being with me here today for this a little bit different episode. I really enjoyed sharing all of this new and old craziness and weirdness with you guys. And yeah, I'm looking forward to our next time together. Until then, love you and bye-bye.